All right. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about using drawings to represent algebraic expressions. One of the hardest things for students who are beginning algebra to understand and get a good grasp on is understanding what things mean. All right? So it's difficult to understand what things mean when you're doing such abstract things with letters and numbers, etc. So this little lesson on drawing these is just designed to help you understand how these things are being put together. Okay? Now, we're not going to always draw these. It would be way too much trouble. But then later you'll see, it should help you get a visual understanding of what's happening. So let's just go to the book. And we will talk about these. Okay. So here we go. So this is, again, just designed to help us better understand it. You would never do this, okay, as you're doing an algebraic expression or an equation, but it does help understand what's going on. So to help us better understand... Pardon? So what we're going to do is we're just going to look at how pictures can help us understand what's going on. So looking at this first picture, we have 2 punnets and 3 strawberries. Well, we know how many strawberries there are, right? So we could just represent that with a number. There are 3 of them. But we don't know how many are inside each one of these boxes, right? But it's easy to see that there are 2 of those boxes. So 1 box plus another, and these are punnets is what their names are called. So 1 punnet plus another punnet means there's 2 punnets plus the 3 extra strawberries that we can see. Does that make sense? So using these pictures can help you understand how the algebra is structured, how the algebra structure works. Okay? And we can see then whether 2 algebraic expressions are equal or not. So let's just look at an example. So suppose we have 2 punnets each containing P strawberries. We don't know how many are in the punnet, and 5 strawberries left over. Represent each of the following groupings using an algebraic expression. So here's our first one. So we have 1 punnet, right? So that's 1 P, and 2 strawberries left over, so plus 2. Make sense? Here we have 1 punnet, so 1 P, and 3 strawberries, so plus 3. Really pretty straightforward when you look at it as a picture. Let's look at this one at the bottom. We have 1 punnet plus 1, 2, 3, 4 strawberries. All right? So the items we know, we can just represent with a number. The items we don't know, we represent with a letter. Now in this one, we have 2 punnets. So that's going to be 2 punnets plus 2 strawberries. So TP plus 2. Pretty straightforward? Okay. So, really makes it easy to see, to visualize how algebra works. This is our unknown. That box is our unknown. We don't know what's in there. We don't know how much stuff is in there, but we know we have either 1 of them or 2 of them. Okay. Now, in this one at the end, we don't have any. Right? Now, okay, so we can look at those easily. Now, they're taking the 2 of them and putting them together. So if you see, here we have 1 punnet plus 2 strawberries. And right beside it here, which is going to join this to it, we have 1 punnet plus 3 strawberries. And what we can do is simply think of them as one big group. So if you think about the whole group, there are 2 punnets, right? And 5 strawberries. So 2P plus 5. So you can look at it with pictures, counting them. And then later what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to just use the mathematics, the mathematical expression, algebraic expression, to do the same thing. But today, all we're going to be doing is looking at these pictures so that you can get a really good visual idea of what's happening. So all we're going to do is turn algebra into counting, basically. Okay? So let's look add a couple of problems. Just go to the exercises. Suppose we have 4 punnets, each containing p strawberries, and 2 strawberries left over. Represent each of the following grouping using an algebraic expression. Okay? Well, first we're going to do it individually. So if we're looking at this box here first, okay? So we have 2 punnets plus 1 strawberry. Then we're going to do this one. On this side, we have 2 punnets plus 1 strawberry. Then we're going to put them all together. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 punnets and 2 strawberries. Right? So what you should see out of this is that when you have this 2p and 2p, we can combine them. Means we have not 2 punnets, but 4 punnets. And of course, we could always combine numbers, so 1 plus 1 gave us the 2. And there are lots of different ways to represent that same one, and that's why they're going to do it over and over. So look at the next one. There's 1 punnet plus 1 strawberry, and 3 punnets plus 1 strawberry. If we add those together, we still get 4 punnets plus 2 strawberries. So 1 of them plus 3 more of them makes 4 punnets. 1 plus 1, of course, is 2. So do you see that you can combine the numbers and the different items? Even though we don't know how many strawberries are inside those punnets, we can still combine the number of punnets. So 1 of them plus 3 of them made 4 of them. And that's the thing that we're trying to get you to see here using these visuals. Okay? So there's another one similar to that. You're just going to choose which one you want to do, divide them up any way you want to. So we'll just go ahead and do 2a so you can see the directions. This is kind of odd sometimes. So 2 different expressions for the total number of strawberries. Okay, well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 punnets and 2 strawberries in this case. But what I want to do is break that up somehow. And you can break it up any way you want to. So let's say I counted this one and this one and this one. So that's 1 punnet plus 2 strawberries. Plus, then we're going to do the rest of them. So that's 3 punnets. So this expression is equal to that expression. So you can break them apart any way you want to. You could have done 1 punnet, 1 strawberry, 3 and 2. It doesn't make any difference. I just picked something to write it out. And there's no right or wrong answer as long as you don't get more of each item than you have. Okay? So you're just going to write an expression like this and say what it's equal to. Okay, so break them up in any pattern you want to. Okay? Well, if we can combine those things with pictures, then we can start to think about how we can combine them just as pieces. So look at 3a. Okay? Now, I don't know what a b is, but if it's all by itself like that, how many of them do I have?
1.
1, exactly. So, and you can even put that number 1 in front if you want to. If it's 1b plus 2, plus 2, plus 1b plus 1. So if I have 1b and another 1b, how many b's does that make?
Yeah, you really need some serious change.
2b, right? And then I have 2 plus 1, which is plus 3. So my total is 2b plus 3. Now, I can't combine those two things because I don't know what the b's are. It's just like saying 3 apples plus 5. Apples and 5s are not like things. You can't combine them or work with them like that. Okay? So, that's what they said it is, so therefore that statement is true. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to some things that we've talked about before, but now we're using algebraic expressions with them. They may look a little bit different. So let me erase this so I can show you this part. So look at this one, b. We have 4 times b plus 2, and they say that they equals 4b plus 6. I'm just rewriting it and putting it on paper so you can see it. What does it mean to have a number right in front of a bracket like that? What operation is indicated there? Do you remember? We talked about the operations.
Multiplication.
Exactly, multiplication. But if you look inside the bracket, I have a b and a 2. So that means I'm going to have to use what's called the distributive law. I'm going to multiply the 4 times the b, but I also have to multiply the 4 times the 2. Okay? Well, 4 times b, what do I get when I multiply a number times a letter? It just sticks them side by side. So what would I get if I took 4 times a b? Anybody?
Yep. 4b.
4b, right. Remember when you multiply a number times a letter, it just sticks them side by side? Plus, now 4 times 2, that's easy. 4 times 2 is just 8. And they say that's equal to 4b plus 6. True or false? False, right?
False.
Because they're not equal, are they? Okay? Good deal. All right? So you will have some combining to do, but you can also have multiplication. And I know we haven't multiplied with a lot of terms, but we talked about it. All you have to do to multiply a number times a letter is just stick the number in front of the letter. Now, what if I had had 4 times 2b? I can actually multiply those two numbers. What's 4 times 2 going to give me? 8. And then just bring down the b. So remember, you can still do math with numbers just like you always had, but now those letters are going to follow them around. Okay? All right. So you're going to do those where you're just determining if it's true or false. Okay? All right. By drawing diagrams, write simpler algebraic expressions for these. Okay? So they're going to have you do some diagrams where you're writing out some expressions. Let's just look at the examples, and you can do these really easily. So here we have 3 punnets and 2 strawberries, plus 5 punnets and 4 strawberries. So instead of just doing the math, they want you to draw them out. So when you're drawing the punnets, you can just draw squares, and then the strawberries can be little circles. It doesn't matter. So just draw it the best you can. If you want to get all artistic on me, you can. But I'm just going to do squares and little circles. Okay? All right. So here we go. Starting with 4a. 3 p's plus a p. So all we're dealing with here are punnets, right? So I have 3 punnets. Oops. 3 punnets plus another punnet, which makes 4 punnets. Okay? They just want you to practice drawing the diagrams. Now, when you look at the multiplication ones, remember we can't do anything without, well, you can change those punnets, p's to letters if you want to. So look at like E. We just want to draw a diagram that represents this situation. So we have 4 times p plus 3. Okay? A couple different ways you could do this. We could just replace the punnet and the strawberries, but that's hard to multiply with, right? So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get rid of those brackets first. Remember, in the order of operations, we always get rid of our brackets first. So that's 4 times p, which is 4p. 4 times 3, so that's plus 12. So that's 4 punnets plus 12 strawberries. And you could draw it lots of different ways. It doesn't make any difference. You don't have to draw it just the way I did. You could draw these 2 and these 4 plus these 2 and these 8. Makes no difference. Okay? So you can draw your own drawing, just whatever you'd like it to look like. Okay? But do practice the drawings. Now, just like you can add more, you can also take away. So here we have 5p minus 2p's. Well, that just means there are 5 total, right? And if we take away 2 of them, take away this one and this one, then that means we're left with 3 left over. So 5p's minus 2p's is simply 3p's. Now again, the visual is not the way you're going to do this math. Trust me, you're never going to see this again. But But it's great practice to be able to visualize what's happening. Why does the math behave the way it does? Okay? Now, look at this one here with the 2 punnets plus 4 punnets minus these. So we have 2 punnets plus 4 strawberries minus a punnet and 3 strawberries. So that means I'm eliminating one of the punnets and 3 strawberries from my original group, which leaves me 1 punnet left over. And if you see right there, 1 more strawberry. Okay? So you're subtracting both the punnet and this number of strawberries from the original amount. Okay? All right. Now, you could have more than one variable, unknown, right? So here we have cases, punnets, and strawberries. Well, the strawberries are easy to count. Punnets, we don't know what's in there, and we also don't know how many punnets or strawberries there are in a crate. So it's just adding more things, which means you need to add another variable, another letter for it. So here we have 2 cases plus a punnet plus 3, right? So 2C plus P plus 3. All right? Now, okay, we won't go into that one yet. So all I want you to do is practice these visuals so you really get a good understanding of how things are either being combined, addition, or taken apart. Okay? But if you have brackets in there when you're doing multiplication, do that multiplication first.